Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Cameron Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Lindsay, here, back with another episode. First off, I want to say, thank you to God, for blessing me with the determination to keep on doing an episode, keep on doing the sports podcast. Like I said, even though I'm not the best right now, one day I will be the best through hard work and dedication and great effort. So I want to say that. Glory to God. Next, of course, though I always say, for those who don't know, I do this sports podcast for my love of sports. One day I want to be a professional journalist, / analyst for companies like ESPN, Fox Sports, NFL Network, NBA TNT, MLB, NHL. I want to be the best. I want to be on shows like Undisputed, First Take, like with the Stephen A. Smiths, Shannon Sharp, Skip Baylesses of the world, Malika Andrews. I want to be them. I want to be one of the best. So I'm striving for that, and one day I will achieve that. I promise you that. I really promise. And today's episode will be about this past weekend's NFL draft, the conclusion of the first round of the NHL and NBA playoffs. The second round has just started, and I'm giving my predictions for those games and break down what I think. Go over what I think of the first round and how interesting it was. But first off, we're gonna start off with the NFL draft. Now it was big buzz, like who's gonna go first overall. It's gonna be Bryce Young. It's gonna be C.J. Stroud out of Ohio State. And in my opinion, I feel like Bryce Young should be the first overall pick. It's close. Don't get me wrong. They're both very close. I think they can both be superstar quarterbacks at the next level. But I would went with Bryce Young because seeing him play, he's just very efficient, accurate. Got a good, decent, threw a deep ball. He don't fold under pressure, even though he's undersized. But he don't let him phase him. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. He played at Alabama, and he's going against NFL talent. So now, again, I'm gonna go over the first round, not the whole draft, but the first round of the NFL draft. Bryce Young went first overall to the Carolina Panthers. I think that's a great pick. They made the right choice. We'll go on Bryce Young. They could have went C.J. Stroud. I wouldn't have been mad at that, but I think they did the right pick of going Bryce Young. And then C.J. Stroud went second overall to the Houston Texans. They made the right pick there. It was some speculation that Houston would take a defensive player. I think that would have been a big mistake if they would have did that, because if you pass on drafting C.J. Stroud, then guess what? He's going to fall in the lap of the Indianapolis Colts. And then you're going to see him twice a year. I feel like he's going to make you pay twice a year, because the Colts do have a decent, good roster. They have a really good defense, led by Leonard and Buckner, DeForest Buckner. They have a real good defense. So I think the Houston Texans made the right choice of selecting Stroud and not letting him get drafted by the Colts. And then this will shock me here. The Houston Texans traded up again. I'm like, okay, who are they going to pick? Are they going to pick Will Anderson or Jalen Carter? They decided to go Will Anderson, defensive end out of Alabama. Third overall. I think that was a real good move. In my opinion, I feel like Will Anderson was the best defensive player in this draft. It's close between him and Jalen Carter. But I think Will Anderson can be real special. Get you at least 10 sacks a season. And yeah, I think that they building something in Houston. They can be really good in the next few years again. They just got to build around Bryce and rebuild that defense, and they'll be fine. Now this one shocked me. Well, it didn't shock me, this next pick, but Anthony Richardson went fourth overall to the Colts. I think they made the right pick over Will Levis, because Will Levis is a good, decent quarterback. I just didn't see playing at the University of Kentucky. I didn't see enough to be like, yeah, he gonna be special. Anthony Richardson too. I didn't really see that much, but if I had to choose between the two, I would go with Anthony Richardson, because I feel like his ceiling could be higher than Will Levis. So I feel like the Colts made the right pick there. And like I said, I hope it works out. I like I said, I don't know because I didn't see enough tape or highlights, or when I did see the University of Florida play, because they were pretty bad this past season, and he didn't even play the bowl game against Oregon State. So, and then next pick to the Seattle Seahawks selected Devin Witherspoon, cornerback out of Illinois. That surprised me because I thought Christian Gonzalez would be the first corner off the board, and I think, like I said, in my opinion, I feel like he's the best corner. It was the best corner in this draft. But Devin Witherspoon is a real good pick from what seeing other draft analysts talk about him, seeing a little bit of his highlights. He seems like a real good player, so there's nothing wrong with that pick right there. The Arizona Cardinals selected Paris Johnson, offensive tackle, Ohio State. I think that's a good, decent pick. Get somebody to protect Kyler Murray when he comes back healthy, because Kyler Murray will miss probably half of the season or majority. And with Paris Johnson on the line, they're starting to fix the offensive line, so that can help the Cardinals going forward. 7th overall, the Las Vegas Raiders selected Tyree Wilson. This shocked me too because I thought they would go corner because their secondary is really, really bad. And like I said, you already got, Max Johnson and Chandler Jones. So I was like, do they need an edge rusher? They need one, but that bad. So I think Tyree Wilson's a good pick, but I would have went corner with that pick. Now this next one really surprised me is the Atlanta Falcons with the 8th overall pick selected Bijan Robinson, running back at the University of Texas. Now, of course, Bijan, I thought in my mock draft I had him going in the top 10 to the Eagles. I didn't think the Falcons because, most teams don't value running backs, which I think is a shame because if you have a chance to get a really, really, really good running back who could possibly be generational talent, don't miss on that just because, they take pounding, the career span of a running back is short. Like, no, if you take care of your running back and stop pounding him to death, then they can last longer. But the Falcons, they shocked me with this. So now they got weapons on offense with Bijan. You got buddy from USC, the last pick last year, and you got tight end out of Florida who they selected a couple years ago also. So they got a pretty good offense going to surround Desmond Ridder, who will be their starting quarterback or start a quarterback job with Taylor Heineke. So, and then the next pick, I feel like this is a real good one. The Eagles, with the 9th overall pick, selected Jalen Carter, defensive tackle out of the University of Georgia. Now, most draft analysts had him number 1 in their board as the best player. He was going to be the first overall pick, potentially, but, of course, Carolina traded up. He had the incident off the field with a car accident that killed a teammate. He didn't kill a teammate, but they was racing. So, but I think it's a real good pick because the Eagles, Fletcher Cox is getting older, Brandon Graham is getting older. That's add depth to their defensive line. The Eagles have a real good defensive line rotation. And added somebody like Jalen Carter, who they got Jordan Davis last year. So they really stacking up, and they really like the University of Georgia. A lot of people call them the Philadelphia Bulldogs. So I think that's their nickname because they really like drafting players from the University of Georgia the past couple of years. And so Howie Roseman, their general manager, is doing an excellent job with drafting and developing players with the Eagles. Next, the 10th overall pick, Chicago Bears selected Darnell Wright, offensive tackle at the University of Tennessee. I don't know too much about him, but from what I hear, he played really good against Will Anderson. He held him in check, didn't allow a sack. So if you can shut down Will Anderson, you probably a really good player. So I think that's a good pick right there for the Titans. I mean for the Chicago Bears. Darnell Wright. Then next overall pick, 11th overall, the Tennessee Titans. So I got that mixed up with the Bears. The Bears had the 10th overall pick. They selected Darnell Wright. The Tennessee Titans selected Peter Skoronsky, offensive tackle, Northwestern. It's another solid pick. Northwestern has produced some really pretty good offensive linemen in the past couple of years, especially with Rashawn Slater, who plays for my Los Angeles Chargers. So that's a good pick for the Titans. And then this next one also surprised me. The 12th overall pick, the Detroit Lions selected Jahmyr Gibbs, running back out of Alabama. Now, I don't think I had Jahmyr Gibbs selected in the first round. I think early second round. But I thought he could slip into the first round because he does remind me of Alvin Kamara. He has 4.3, 4.4 speed. But I didn't see the Lions taking him because, you know, they had DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery on their team, I think. So that pretty much shocked me. But the Detroit Lions did trade DeAndre Swift to the Eagles. So Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery gonna be a nice 1-2 punch for the Lions. But it's a good pick. I think it's a good pick for him, but it shocked me they selected him. I thought he would go to maybe my Chargers, but next we have the Green Bay Packers, 13th overall. They selected Lucas Van Ness, linebacker out of Iowa. I mean, that does surprise. I ain't gonna lie, I don't really like this pick that much. I thought the Packers should have selected a receiver or a tight end to help Jordan Love, but the Packers are gonna do Packer things. The 14th overall pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers selected Broderick Jones, offensive tackle out of Georgia. That's a nice solid pick to help protect Kenny Pickett. Next, 15th overall pick, the New York Jets selected Will McDonald, defensive end out of Iowa State. Like I said, he's a very athletic player. I've seen a couple of videos they show him on SportsCenter of him jumping over cars. So he's very athletic. So he's gonna add some great versatility to that Jets defense that's already stacked with Sauce Gardner and company on that defense. The 16th overall pick, the Washington Commanders selected Emmanuel Forbes, cornerback out of Mississippi State. Now this one shocked me because I thought Christian Gonzalez would be picked about right here at least, but the Commanders like Emmanuel Forbes better. So I think it's a good pick. He's a good player from what I've seen. Now next up, the New England Patriots with the 17th overall pick. They went corner as well, and they selected Christian Gonzalez. I think the Patriots got a great steal here. I think he could be special. Now if he ends up being really, really good, I wonder, are they going to pay him because the Patriots aren't known for playing their elite corners. For example, J.C. Jackson left in free agency to my Chargers because the Patriots didn't want to pay him. So, yeah. Next up, the 18th overall pick, the Detroit Lions selected Jack Campbell, linebacker out of Iowa. Now, I don't got too much to say about that pick, but it seemed like a solid pick. The 19th overall pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selected Khalajay Kancey, defensive tackle out of Pittsburgh. I feel like that's a pretty good, decent pick. He had a real good combine and ran a good time, so that's a good pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The 20th overall pick, the Seattle Seahawks. They had 2 first-round picks, so this is their second. The Seattle Seahawks selected Jackson Smith-Njigba, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Now, I think this is a real great pick. That's another weapon for Geno Smith. The Seahawks already got DK Metcalf. They got Tyler Lockett, and they asked somebody like Jackson Smith-Njigba, who has good speed, can play in the slot or the outside. So, yeah, that's a real good pick. With the 21st overall pick, the Los Angeles Chargers select Quentin Johnston, wide receiver out of TCU. I like this pick. I was hoping my Chargers would not mess this up and draft somebody they really need. And so I think this is a real good weapon for Justin Herbert. It gives us another receiver with size, and he also has speed. So I think it's a real good pick for us. With Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, as long as they can stay healthy, we're gonna have a real good team. That can definitely help Justin Herbert. I don't care what nobody say. Justin Herbert is a superstar quarterback. He's arguably definitely top 5 in my opinion. And with Quentin Johnston, if he's legit, we can be something special this year. Next up, with the 22nd overall pick, The Baltimore Ravens selected Zay Flowers, wide receiver out of Boston College. I think this is a real good pick. It gives Lamar Jackson another weapon because they signed Odell Beckham in the offseason, Odell Beckham Jr., and he got some speed here with Zay Flowers. And they signed Lamar Jackson finally. Lamar Jackson got his money that he deserves, and I'm happy for him. So the Baltimore Ravens are I feel like they're going to be a little bit better on offense, especially with keeping Lamar Jackson happy and giving him the money he deserves. With the next pick, the 23rd overall pick, the Minnesota Vikings selected Jordan Addison, wide receiver out of USC. I think it's a real good pick because it's another receiver. They lost Adam. First off, they lost Adam Thielen in the offseason. They let him go. They released him. And they're gonna pair Addison with Justin Jefferson, so I think that could be a nice 1-2 combo because Justin Jefferson is one of the best route runners in the league. Jordan Addison is the best route runner in this draft, so that's gonna give Kirk Cousins some weapons right there and help also their run game with Dalvin Cook. Next up with the 24th overall pick, the New York Giants select Deonte Banks, cornerback out of Maryland. This is a good, nice, decent pick right here. It also helps the Giants' defense as well. So I think the Giants' defense is going to be really, really good. Next up with the 25th overall pick, the Buffalo Bills selected Dalton Kincaid, tight end out of Utah. I like these picks because he is arguably the best tight end in this draft. It gets a nice 1-2 combo with the Bills, with their tight end they already have. Gives another weapon for Josh Allen that they need. So that's going to be a really good pick, a weapon for them. Next up, we have Dallas Cowboys, the 26th overall pick. They selected Nolan Smith, defensive tackle out of Michigan. So now this pick, I feel like the Cowboys settled. I think they wanted Dalton Kincaid, and I don't think this. Maybe Nolan Smith could be a decent pick for them. I hope so, maybe, but we'll see. Next pick, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Antoine Harris, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma. That's a decent pick for them. The 28th overall pick, the Cincinnati Bengals selected Myles Murphy, edge rusher out of Clemson. That's a good, decent pick for them. The 29th overall pick, the New Orleans Saints selected Brian Brees, defensive tackle out of Clemson. I like this pick. Brian Brees seems like a decent, good player. He didn't have the season he wanted at Clemson, so I think that's why he failed. And then now this next pick is real good. I think the Eagles got a real steal here. The 3rd overall pick, the Philadelphia Eagles selected Nolan Smith, defensive end out of Georgia. Now, I don't know how Nolan Smith slid all the way this far. He ran a 4.3 at the 40. He's a real good edge rusher, 6'2", 240 pounds. I feel like he could have been a top 10 pick. I don't know why he slid this far, but the Eagles, like I said, the Philadelphia Bulldogs, that's another year they selected Georgia players in this draft. And then lastly, in the first round, the Kansas City Chiefs select, with 31st overall pick, select Felix Uzma, edge rusher out of Kansas State. He was a Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, so Kansas City got a pretty good edge rusher. Now, I got 7 takeaways from the draft that I think are highlight that stood out to me from this past draft. Bryce Young going 1st overall to Carolina. They made the right pick. CJ and Will going 2 and 3 to the Texans. Like I said, I didn't see them drafting Will Anderson. I just saw them getting CJ, so that surprised me. Richardson going 4th to the Colts because, like I said, they made the right pick instead of Will Levis. Eagles drafting Jalen Carter at 9 and Nolan Smith at 30 in the first round. So they got 2 really great players to help their pass rush on their defense. Falcons drafting Bijan Robinson, a running back out of Texas, with the 8th overall pick. And the Detroit Lions drafting running back Josh Gibbs, 12th overall, out of Alabama. And lastly, Will Levis falling out of the first round. Now, he did get drafted in the 2nd round to the Tennessee Titans. That I'm like, I don't know why, because why would you draft Malik Willis last year in the 3rd round? Give up on him after 1 year. He didn't even start the whole year. They gave up on him, and now I don't think Will Levis is really probably gonna be the answer either. So they probably gonna be looking for a quarterback within the next year or two. But that's my takeaway from the NFL draft, especially the first round. Let me know what y'all think under the comments of who you think won the draft. In my opinion, I feel like the Texans and the Philadelphia Eagles won the NFL draft, with Texas getting C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. So they got a need at quarterback and they got a need at edge rusher. The Eagles drafted 2 top 10 prospects in the draft with Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, both from Georgia. So I think I would give them an A+, and I give the Texans A+ as well for the draft. Next topic in today's show, I'm going to talk about the NHL Playoffs, the first round, and give my predictions for the second round of the playoffs. Now, I'm going to go over what happened in the first round. So the Carolina Hurricane won the series over the New York Islanders 4-2, so they beat them in 6 games. Now, I did pick the Islanders in 7, so I got that pick wrong. I take responsibility for that. Next up, the Dallas Stars won the series 4-2 over Minnesota. I was right about that pick, so I picked the Stars in 6 over Minnesota, so I got that right. The Las Vegas Knights won the series 4-1 over Winnipeg. I picked the Knights in 6, so I got the pick right, but not the exact series in 6. They beat them in 5. Toronto won the series over Tampa Bay Lightning 4-2. I had picked the Lightning to beat Toronto in 6, so I got that wrong. That surprised me. I thought the Tampa Bay Lightning would win that series because they did go to the Stanley Cup last year, and they've been to the Stanley Cup Finals for the past 3 out of 4 years at least. Next up, the Edmonton Oilers won this series over the Los Angeles Kings. They won that series 4-2 and 6. I had picked the Edmonton in 7, so I got that pick right, but just not in 7 games. Then I picked the Boston Bruins in 4 over Florida Panthers. This is the biggest upset because this happened last night. The Panthers beat Boston in 7 and upset. Now, I ain't gonna lie, if I was the Boston Bruins, I'll be highly disappointed. I think this season was a failure. How do you win the most games ever in the regular season in the NHL history and then lose in the first round of the playoffs? So I feel like now it's like winning all them games were meaningless. They're kind of overhyped, overrated, and now the Panthers are moving on, so congratulations to them. And lastly, my Seattle Kraken beat the defending NHL heavyweight Stanley Cup champions of the world, the Colorado Avalanche, in 7 games last night. So telling people, I had a friend at an internship of mine. I told him, because he's a Colorado Avalanche fan, I told him the Kraken would beat the Avalanche in 6 games. I got that wrong, but I told him the Seattle Kraken would upset the Colorado Avalanche in the playoffs, and I was right. So Seattle Kraken won they're an expansion team, so they're the first expansion team in NHL history to win a playoff series. So congratulations to the Kraken, release the Kraken. Now the last matchup of the first round is the New Jersey Devils and the New York Rangers. I picked the Rangers in 5, but this is game 7. I'm gonna go with the New York Rangers over the New Jersey Devils to win that series. Now, let's talk about the round 2 matchups of the NHL playoffs. First up, we got my Seattle Kraken versus the Dallas Stars. I'm gonna go Kraken in 6. Kraken in 6. I'm gonna say the Seattle Kraken will win in 6 games over the Dallas Stars with another upset, advancing to the Western Conference Conference Championship. Then we got the Las Vegas Knights versus the Edmonton Oilers. I'm gonna go Edmonton in 5. I'm gonna say Edmonton will upset the Las Vegas Knights and beat them in 5 to advance to the Western Conference Championship against my Seattle Kraken. In the East, we got the Florida Panthers versus the Toronto Maple Leaf. I'm going to go with the Maple Leaf in 7 over the Florida Panthers. I feel like this will go 7 games, and Toronto will win in 7 over the Florida Panthers. Next up, the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, I did predict the Rangers to win tonight's game over the New Jersey Devils, but regardless of who wins, I'm going to go with the Carolina Hurricane in 6 over the New York Rangers or the New Jersey Devils. So again, let me know your predictions. Again, I'm gonna say it again. I got the Seattle Kraken in 6 over the Dallas Stars in the second round. I got the Edmonton Oilers in 5 over the Las Vegas Knights. I got the Toronto Maple Leaf in 7 over the Florida Panthers, and I got the Hurricane in 6 over either the New Jersey Devils or the Rangers. So, but yeah, I think the NHL playoffs this year are going very, very well. It's been a lot of overtime games, and what's better than overtime hockey during the playoff season? So I think that's really, really sweet, and especially in Game 7 of hockey. I enjoy watching it. Not gonna lie, not as much as NBA Game 7, but I still enjoy it. But that's my predictions for and take over the first round, and my prediction for the second round of the NHL playoffs. Now to the main event. We got the NBA playoffs. I'm gonna go over the first round of that. Now, Denver versus Minnesota. I picked Denver in 5. Denver did beat Minnesota in 5. So I got that completely right. I knew Minnesota would at least get 1 game. The Suns and Clippers, I thought it would go 6, be more interesting, but Kawhi Leonard got hurt after Game 2, and the Suns just pretty much dominated. Now, Russell Westbrook played well. I don't know what he didn't play as well when he played for my Lakers. I don't know what got into him or anything. I'm like, he averaging 20-plus points per game, blocks, blocking shots, blocking KD, stealing the ball, blocking Devin Booker. I'm like, what was this rush for my Lakers? Like, I don't know what, but he played very well. Maybe I feel like the Clippers might bring him back. If not, he gonna get signed by somebody. But I was shocked that he played that well in the series against the Suns. But it was too much for the Clippers because Paul George was out. He was out for that whole series. Kawhi Leonard ended up getting hurt and was out. So, in my opinion, I hate to say, I feel like the Clippers might as well start rebuilding. Maybe trade Kawhi. Maybe you could keep Paul George, but Kawhi been worse. Like, I don't know. He's still a superstar, so I would try to get something for him. Or if not, you gotta, cause what have they won? They got to the Western Conference Finals 1 time, and then Kawhi wasn't even playing. I like Kawhi, but he's worse than Anthony Davis. So, and for those of you who talk about Anthony Davis being glass, and put some respect on his name, because Kawhi Leonard is way worse than Anthony Davis when it comes to injuries. So, next up, the Kings and Warriors. I had the Warriors in 6. Now, this series went 7 games. The Warriors won in 7. And I think this was a real good series. You had De'Aaron Fox, who averaged 29 points per game. Steph, over 30. Malik Monk had averaged the most points per game coming off the bench in playoffs. Sabonis played okay, but he got his issues. Draymond played okay. Poole played okay. Wiggins played okay. But Kevon Looney played really well. He averaged 20 rebounds multiple times in this series. I think he outplayed Sabonis on the glass, and that helped the Warriors win Game 7 in Sacramento. So there was no more like the beam, for Sacramento. But you gotta give them props though. They did make the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. So I think the Kings can have something special for the next few years with their emerging star in De'Aaron Fox. Next up, the Bucks and the Heat. I had the Bucks in 4. This one I got completely wrong. Well, to be fair, Giannis did get hurt in Game 1. He played 11 minutes. He hurt his lower back, and he missed 2 games. But the Heat did play played very well. The reason I didn't see this coming because the Heat did lose their first play-in game to the Atlanta Hawks and ended up getting the 8th seed when they beat the Chicago Bulls. But they beat the Bucks in 5. Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy, you gotta put some respect. At this point, you gotta call him a superstar. He averaged 23 points per game in the regular season. It's like he cared about the regular season, but he cared about the playoffs way more, which you should. But I feel like he's a superstar because he gets buckets. He puts the team on his back, and I know that for a fact because when he played my Lakers in the 2020 Finals, he went off. He carried the team on his back all the way till he couldn't no more when they lost in 6 to my Lakers. So I think the Heat are a real contender at this point, beating Giannis and the Bucks. Even though Giannis did miss a couple games, but Giannis did come back and play 2 games, and they still lost to the Heat. And Jimmy Butler had an amazing game 4. He scored 50 plus points and carried that team on his back. So put some respect on Jimmy Butler's name because he is him. He's a superstar. I don't care what nobody say. He is a superstar. So put some respect on Jimmy Butler's name. Next, the Cleveland Cavaliers and New York Knicks. I picked the Cavs on 7. This series I thought would be the most interesting of the first round, but it ended up being a disappointment. The Knicks won in 5. I got to give credit to Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. They played very well, even with Julius Randle playing bad and getting hurting his ankle. The Knicks won and advancing to the second round in the playoffs for the first time in a long time. Next, we have the 76ers and the Nets. I picked the Sixers in 4. So they ended up sweeping them. I knew it would be a sweep. The Nets, I will say this, the Nets did play hard. They surprisingly played hard. Each game, even though they got swept, they played hard. But it just wasn't enough to beat Joel Embiid, James Harden, and Tyrese Maxey and them boys. But I got some news to tell y'all about what happened in that series. Joel Embiid did get hurt, and he's doubtful for game 1 tonight against the Celtics. It's possible he might not play this series or be 100%. And that's going to be a big factor for my prediction for the second round against the Celtics. But I'm going to get to that in a minute. Next, we have the Celtics versus the Hawks. I picked the Celtics in 4. Now, this one was a little let down because I thought the Celtics would just be way dominant. But the Hawks ended up surprising me, winning 2 games and only losing 6 to the Celtics. I feel like the Celtics didn't take them serious because the Hawks did play in the play-in. Trae Young, they only really got Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, the only 2 on that team that can really create their own shot. And I feel like the Celtics didn't really take them that serious, but it's the playoffs, so anything can happen. So I give credit to the Hawks. They did play hard and getting 2 games off the Celtics. Lastly, this one right here is my favorite. Memphis and Lakers. I picked the Lakers at 6. Now, for those who talking about Memphis gonna beat the Lakers in 6 or 7, I told y'all, Lakers in 6. I may not be the most knowledgeable person, but I know some basketball. Lakers in 6, like I said. LeBron is too much. AD, when he's healthy, is too dominant. Now, he didn't play all that well on offense. He averaged 20 points per game, double digit, I think 13, 14 rebounds a game. But he had 4.5 blocks per game. He was dominant on the defensive end. Like, I don't know why they kept driving it to the basket. Like, why keep trying AD when AD's healthy? He's the best 2-way player in the league. I don't care what nobody say. Best 2-way player in the league. Better than Giannis, 2-way player. Overall, no, but 2-way, best. He's going to give you at least 25. He's going to give you double digits. He's going to give you 2 blocks. Like, first game 1, 7, like, he had game 7 blocks, 5 blocks, 4 blocks, 2 blocks, 3 blocks. And in game 6, he had 5. He only had 16 points, but it felt like he had 30. He had 14 rebounds. He was dominant. So I don't know what got into AD, and he been playing through injury. Game 1, he got hurt to the point where he couldn't feel his arm, but he came back in anyway. And I'm proud of AD for that, because when he's healthy, I know AD. I don't know if AD's watching this, but I'm saying anyway. AD, if you ever watch this episode, you are a top 5 player when you're healthy, when you're dominant and aggressive. You just stop settling. Like for the Lakers to win a championship, you have to be the best player on the team, not LeBron. Let him pass the torch to you, please. That's the only way we're gonna win the championship this year. But I'm proud of the Lakers. Austin Reeves stepped up. Rui Hachimura stepped up. D'Angelo Russell stepped up. LeBron was LeBron. Jerry Vanderbilt stepped up. I'm proud of this team. Like I didn't see this coming when we started the year 2-10 and was 13th in the West. And by trade deadline, they made all these trades and we turned it around. I was like, at this point, I was gonna be happy if we just got to the play-in tournament. But now I think we got a real shot to be competitive and win the championship. But then we played the Warriors in the second round of the playoffs, and I'm finna get to my predictions in a second. Right now, I'm getting to my predictions. So, first matchup, we got the Nuggets and the Suns. Now, this game happened a couple days. Saturday, the Nuggets won game 1, 125-107. Jamal Murray was very dominant. KD had 29, 14. Devin Booker had 27, but it wasn't enough. Now, this pick, I was a little hesitant. I was going back and forth like, but because a friend of mine at my internship, I told him, I'm going to go with the Nuggets in the 7. I feel like it's going to go 7, but I'm going to go with the Nuggets. I hate it. But on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident I am in this pick, a 2. I told him straight up. My friend in my internship for the Columbus River Dragons, I told him a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm confident because he's a different Nuggets fan. And I was like, you know what? Just for you, I'm pick the Nuggets just for you. And the only reason I'm not confident because of that 7-foot assassin named Kevin Durant. So, but the Nuggets do lead the series 1-0. Game 2 is tonight, but I'm gonna go with the Suns to bounce back and win Game 2. But I'm gonna say the Nuggets win the series of 7 to advance to the Western Conference Finals. Next up, we're going to the East. We got the Heat and the Knicks. Game 2 will be tomorrow. The Heat won Game 1. Jimmy Butler played well, had 25 points. He did roll his ankle, so we'll see if he plays Game 2 or will be 100%. Julius Randle didn't play Game 1 because he's still healing from the ankle injury, so he might play Game 2. I'm going to go with the Heat and 6 over the Knicks. Maybe 5. I thought about 5, but I'm going to say 6. And I feel like the Heat will advance to the Eastern Conference Finals because I don't think they got anybody that can stop Jimmy Butler. He's a superstar. He playoff Jimmy for a reason, and I think he's going to lead the Heat to the Eastern Conference Finals. Next up, we have the Sixers and the Celtics. Now, I told you Joel Embiid is doubtful for Game 1. So now I had picked the Celtics to win in 6 because they don't got nobody really to stop Joel Embiid, but with Tatum, I feel like Tatum and Brown are too much. The Celtics got too much depth for the Sixers. Is James Harden going to be the James Harden of old? I feel like James Harden, he don't really put enough points on the board. He get the assists, but I feel like the Sixers would need like at least 25, 30 from him also. And I feel like the Celtics are going to have too much for the Sixers. But with Joel Embiid being doubtful and possibly maybe missing the whole series, if that happens, if the Celtics go up 2-0, I feel like Celtics are going to beat them in 5. Or possibly sweep them. I feel like Celtics in 5 if Joel Embiid doesn't play. But if he does and he comes back healthy, Celtics in 6. Now lastly, I say this last matchup for last because my Lakers in it. Lakers and Warriors. I picked the Lakers in 6 over the Grizzlies, but y'all didn't believe me. I'm an upcoming sports journalist. I don't say that just because I say that because that's what I am. I'm an upcoming sports journalist with my own sports podcast that I'm growing from the ground up. Like literally, this episode you're seeing raw. There's no edits right now. There's no fancy background. This is my channel and I'm growing from the ground up. So, with that being said, I'm going with my Los Angeles Lakers in 6. I'm going with my Los Angeles Lakers in 6. AD will dominate this series. He's going to dominate Looney because he's too small. He can't handle AD. They don't got nobody to stop him off the glass. AD is going to dominate this series, and the Lakers will win in 6. Yes, Steph Curry's going to be Steph Curry. Don't get me wrong. It's gonna be an entertaining series. But Lakers, we winning in 6. We winning in 6, and we're going to advance to the Western Conference Finals to play the Denver Nuggets. But I don't care what nobody say. Lakers in 6 over the Warriors. Now, if the Lakers get to the finals, I might even buy me a bottle of Hennessy. I might be like Shannon Sharp. I might be like Unc. I'm like Unc. Get a bottle of Hen. Sit here, drink one sip with y'all to show y'all I was right about my Lakers getting to the NBA Finals and winning this series. So, yeah, that's my notes over the first round for both the NHL and NBA playoffs, and the NFL draft. That's my predictions also for the NBA and NHL. Let me know what y'all think under the comments. Who y'all got in the second round for the NBA and the NHL? What y'all thoughts on the NFL draft, this year's NFL draft? And like I said, I highly recommend y'all watch the games tonight, especially the Nuggets Suns and the Sixers Celtics, and also Game 7 of the Rangers and the New Jersey Devils. That'll be the last matchup of the first round for the NHL. But yeah, I really appreciate y'all tuning in. For each and every one of y'all, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you know anybody, just like, hey, can you check out Cameron Sports Podcast on YouTube? Subscribe. Try to support him. Support him. He's a friend of mine. He's family. So, like I said, y'all more than just subscribers. Y'all are family at this point. So, like I said, we're growing this channel from the ground up. I promise you, it's gonna be improvement soon. I'm just taking my time and growing it from the ground up. But, cause like I said, Rome quoted. I'm using a quote by my, by someone I'm dating, someone that I love, that's important to me. Like she told me, Rome wasn't built in one day. So this sports podcast is gonna be built in one day. So shout out to that special lady in my life. But yeah, so I want y'all to like, comment, subscribe, share this channel, please, and thank you. And I want to say glory to God for continuing to give me the motivation and the determination to do this channel. But I will catch y'all next time, and y'all stay blessed. I love each and every one of y'all, and take care.